But I think I can say the food thing because you know what the food thing is, right? The food thing is you go to the grocery store, especially in 2024, and you are seeing prices going up and up. Now, inflation, it's a thing. The price of everything is going up everywhere, all over the world. Fine. So I'm not saying this is specifically a conservative problem or a New Brunswick problem or anything like that. But what I am saying about the food thing on today's Live for Five, which happens to also be at 5 p.m. Perfect. Wish it could be this poetic every day. What I am saying about the food thing is the food thing is like the health thing. Now, I'm wearing the pin again today because, of course, I'm working on 5 priorities. When I'm elected as your MLA, I'll be working on 5 solutions to challenges and problems that face Saint Croix. One of them is the affordability of housing. You've heard me talk about that. The other is housing for all. We've covered that in target number 2. Target number 3, the healthcare system. Target number 4 now is food insecurity or the cost of food, how people do not have access to food, how our food banks are straining at their absolute limits, how people who've never used food banks before and have jobs and healthy salaries are depending on the food bank, which in turn puts a strain on them, but they are not to be blamed, etc., etc. What I mean by the food thing is, like the other 3 priorities, housing unaffordability, housing not being available and accessible to all, and the healthcare crisis that we are now facing. Friends, these things were known and seen a long way off. For years and years, the Green Party and other experts in those industries and those fields have been sounding the alarm about how, hey, there's going to be a housing shortage. Hey, there are not enough shelter beds based on trends we're seeing of people who are going unhoused and rents being unaffordable and seniors not able to afford their mortgages because of property tax increases, even if their houses are paid off. The healthcare crisis. Hey, demographics are rising. The population of New Brunswick is getting older and older. Hey, healthcare advocates were sounding the alarm on that and saying, this is coming. This is coming. And the Liberal and Conservative governments who have formed the government in this province and elsewhere have kicked the ball down the road. I hear this when I knock on doors, the ping pong effect, as it's being called. Meanwhile, Green MLAs are standing up and saying, hey, are you seeing what is on the horizon? Now, Green MLAs do not just sound the alarm and say, do you see what's on the horizon? They make plans, they suggest solutions, they table bills. And so, over the next couple days, in my Live for Five, how much time I got left? A couple of minutes. I want to talk about how I want to bring food solutions to Saint Croix. We've got a couple of problems happening and converging at the same time. As we said, the supermarkets raising prices and making record profits. So this is not just a thing about, oh, everything's going up. This is supermarkets saying to their shareholders, hey, this is an opportunity to not just raise prices, but make record profits out of the grocery budgets of everyday people. That's no good. That needs to be addressed. The second thing is we have farmers in New Brunswick struggling more than ever before. Now, we've talked before about stats that sound good, that you'll hear ministers, the Minister of Agriculture stood up in the legislature in New Brunswick and said, farming receipts are higher than ever, $1.2 billion over last year, which was $1.1 billion. But of course, the Green MLA, Kevin Arsenault, who is a farmer, knows and has farmers' friends and studies this and actually tabled a bill on food security, which we'll talk about shortly. He knows that actually farmers are more in debt than ever. So you can say, oh, revenues are up, but it only matters if that money is going into the pockets of farmers, and farmers and their families and the farms themselves are getting more sustainable and more healthy. Well, this is not the case. In fact, in the last 5 years, New Brunswick has lost 20% of its farms. Only between 6 and 7% of farmers are under the age of 35, which means farmers continue to get older, need to retire, don't have succession plans for passing along their farms. this is the problem we're facing and the challenge that requires a solution. So, this is target number 4. I'll spend the next day or two talking about not just doom and gloom, but things that Greens have done, things that Greens want to do. The policy manual for the values of the Green Party, it's right on our website, and pages 17, 18, and 19, I will go through those like I have to show you on the screen. These have always been part of the values of the Green Party about wanting sustainable, healthy food that helps farmers as well as getting people who need food. Again, food banks exploding at the seams, needing with people using it and them needing more money and donations and not having enough. We can solve these problems at the same time with the help of the provincial government, the Department of Agriculture budget, and of course an MLA that is actually working on these issues for you. So that's it. I'm going to take that's closed shop today. That's live for 5. It's usually live for 6, 7, 8, 9 or so. And I will just leave it there for today. But I'm excited to talk to you about solution number 4 to that issue of food insecurity, and how Greens, this is a green value for local food production and tackling those things at the same time so everybody gets what they need for our, say it with me now, common good. Thanks, and I will see you tomorrow. I look forward to it. Again, subscribe to this channel.